Can you believe all this talk about GLP-1s? Of course you can. It's all people talk about. Have you heard about Future Health, though? They make access to qualified doctors that know GLP-1s easier than ever. People can struggle with weight loss for years, trying various diets and exercises without lasting success. With GLP-1s, many people notice a reduction in cravings and felt more in control of their eating habits, which lead to weight loss, physical health, and feeling more optimistic about their future. Feeling good is most important, and no matter what you do to be healthy or to get in good shape, now science can be utilized. Everyone wins. They give millions of people affordable access to knowledgeable providers who really know weight loss medications for less than $3 a day. Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in 3 minutes at tryfh.com. That is tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion. Results may vary. Sponsored by Future Health.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar and Town Square Pizza right next door here downtown Baton Rouge. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff along with Jimmy Ott, Pride of Holy Cross. Jordan Kitchens back in the studio. How'd I do? The
right? New bougie Holy Cross.
Yeah, right. Yeah. From the new Holy Cross, back in the studio. Glad that you're with us today as we count down toward the weekend, the first ever college football playoff that includes 12 teams, and of course the holidays the Christmas holidays just right around the corner. I'm sitting here looking at a full, probably 6 foot tall Will Ferrell dressed as an elf. Part of the Christmas explosion here at Jolie Pearl. If you're following along with us on YouTube, you can see some of this in the background, but not all of it because it's pretty extensive. So you're downtown next week or so. Come on down here to Jolie Pearl, take some pictures, have a good meal, have a cocktail, maybe watch a little football. We got a lot of that. Jimmy, I got a feeling that you're like me up until fairly recently. Let's say until the pandemic. You knew what everybody's classification was in college sports. Like, oh, that guy, yeah, he's a senior. Oh, that guy, yeah, he's a freshman. Oh, yeah, that guy, he's a redshirt freshman or whatever. I don't know what anybody's classification is anymore. How many years they have left? It seems like between the pandemic year, which is still in play for
how is that still going?
Well, it was 4 years ago, so this should be the end of that. But that's still in play for some 5th and 6th year guys for at least one more year. And then we have the redshirt rules, which used to be really strict, and now are a lot less strict. You can play 4 games, which I'm fine with. I thought that was a decent rule. to not put kids in a position where they have to tell coaches, hey, we don't want to play in a November game because it's going to mess up my red shirt. If a bunch of guys get hurt, I was fine with that. And then you got the medical red shirts on top of that, which used to be really hard to get and no longer are. It seems like if you've got a dislocated fingernail and you want to get a red shirt year, they are willing to do that. Then this morning, actually it was late yesterday, a federal judge in Tennessee granted an injunction that will allow Diego Pavia to play another year at Vanderbilt. We love Pavia. He's a terrific story, and he's a really gutty player. But it's more the precedent that I'm looking at here. What he's saying basically is that junior college years are not going to count. And his lawyer says, we're not saying the NCAA can't have eligibility requirements, but a junior college season shouldn't be the equivalent of an NCAA season. When the junior college season has, wait for it, no meaningful NIL opportunities and no television exposure. I remember when guys used to go to junior college to get their grades up, or maybe to fill out athletically a little bit. It was never that you were going to a junior college because, hey, wait, there's some NIL out there. So
usually you didn't have grades.
It was grades, and sometimes you get a late bloomer. Somebody would develop athletically a little bit. A lineman would fill out or something. But
usually you didn't have grades.
It was grades. Sometimes you had problems with the law. Whatever it was to go get yourself in. One of the cases with that was Mettenberger. Mettenberger ran into a legal problem. So did Cam Newton. They ended up in a season in junior college, and then they got it all right and got on with their careers. So I'm trying to do the math here. You spend 2 years at a junior college, you spend a redshirt year. If you have an injury, in another redshirt year, and in 4 years after that, we're making college an 8-year experience. Let's try to keep.
That's what they ruled, huh?
Well, it's an injunction. It's not law yet, but it's certainly a precedent. We're going to have, and we've always had a little bit of this. You had, especially out of like BYU, you'd have kids go on a mission, and so you would have 23 and 24-year-old seniors sometimes playing football or basketball. We saw some guys like Chris Winkie and Matt Mock go pursue professional baseball for a while, never actually enroll, and then come back later, and they were older when they finished up their careers. But this is going to make it somewhat normal for 25-year-old college football players.
I think the ruling's kind of bogus, by the way. I mean, who the hell was Diego Pavia? Who was beating down his door to let him endorse their product when he was a JC player?
Well, let's not act like NIL is about endorsing products either. It's paid for straight.
I love when
pay
people say NIL.
Yeah, it's paid.
It's got nothing to do with NIL.
Right, straight pay for play.
Yeah. Player pay. Players. You payroll. Your player budget, whatever it is. But that's what he was. This is based on because the NIL wasn't available when he was in junior college. So he missed out. But if we're talking NIL, nobody even knew who the hell Diego Pavia was. I mean,
we didn't know who he was when he was at New Mexico State.
He couldn't get a deal from a food truck.
No.
That's
good. I'm going to use that food truck.
Thank you,
yeah,
I
like that.
Tacos, Diego.
That's funny,
the
it's
whole
good.
thing, It's just kind of. But there was once a time in 35 years of doing this where I would have to try and explain to the audience, the NCAA ruling in the court of the NCAA is not like the court of the real world. Seems like the court of the real world is trumping them left and right. And
they've been routed by the courts. They've been routed by the laws. And listen, in general, in a vacuum, I would rather listen to the courts than to the NCAA, given their history of ridiculous rulings in a lot of cases. But in this one, I'm like, man, you're really, really making it easy for kids to hang around. And, listen, far be it from me to put the academics in it, but you're supposed to go to college, and then you're supposed to get on with your life. And college is not supposed to be.
Who at the end of college wasn't ready to get on with their life?
It depends on your circumstances. There's most people are.
Some, but a big chunk.
Most.
Okay, man, I'm ready to go start making some money, get a career,
and herein they're making more money now in college. A lot of these kids are making more in college than they will make.
If you're that
after
type
they
of athlete, what it is okay. Well, will this? I mean, I don't know. You help me kind of put kind of totally comprehend this, but does this make college football true minor league football? I mean, there's guys that spend 8-9 years in the minors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The
only difference now is that the NFL is not funding it.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. Everybody needs some variety in life. That's what I love about Chumba Casino. They know how to keep things fresh and exciting. All their games are free to play, like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire. You can claim free daily login bonuses, too. And they release new games every week. So spice things up with ChumbaCasino.com now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Major League Baseball funds the minor leagues. Everybody's got their own farm system. The NFL's not funding it. Other than that, absolutely.
I like how the NFL, just has no shouldn't they be a little appreciative of college football?
They're not.
I know, no, we know the greed. I mean,
they're not.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. They should. It's a free farm system.
Yes, and they are. I mean, they are sort of. They're starting to. I mean, you when you have your draft, I mean, they kind of utilize that to make some money, right?
It's become a huge moneymaker.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, how are we interested in the draft if we don't even know this is Joe Antigua from who's that? Well, interest if you don't know the product.
Right.
So here's college football that's creating these brands. For Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter or Genty and. Joe Burrow and whatever. I mean, boy, they just crap on him. Agreed. Yeah, I don't have to get into that. But it's just so if you have that middle, after like 6-7 years playing college football, if you're good enough to impact the college game, you're going to have to try and see what minor league. I'll give you a good example. How long did Jason Williams play in minor leagues? From LSU, and he was really good.
Yeah, he was.
Was he not dying to try and?
Yes.
Try.
Yeah.
Say if he just could go there and just go give it a shot. If he didn't, just fill out, move on.
Yeah.
He's playing softball, I think now for full
time. Really good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
But he might not. That might not be the best example. But Diego Pavia, at some point, does he want to try to make an NFL roster?
I'm sure he'll go to a camp somewhere. I would be surprised if he...
Well, he's not ready yet. He wants to come back.
Well, because Diego Pavia can make more money at Vanderbilt next year than if he caught on with an NFL team.
You sure?
Yeah, I am, actually. Because if Diego Pavia...
But how long does he want to do this?
I don't know.
4 more years?
As long as he can. Because do you ever think Diego Pavia is going to be
okay, but Charlie, how many
of the
at some point Diego Pavia wants to go try?
Sure. Yeah. My guess is that Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt next year will be close to, if not over, a 7-figure quarterback at Vanderbilt, which he would not be in the NFL.
Diego Pavia is don't you think he's an extreme case where he's a really good college quarterback, but he just does not project at the next level? If Danny Werfel had to do it all over again, would he stay in college for a few more years?
Sure.
Yeah, but he'd get tired of it at some point.
You do, but it would $1 million makes it an awful lot easier. I'm thinking about a guy like Sam Hartman. Okay, Hartman, who is I think hanging around on Washington's practice squad, made $1 million roughly his last year at Notre Dame when he transferred from Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And Hartman, I don't think will ever be an NFL, a starting quarterback.
Or he probably got there right now. He's not an NFL quarterback. Riley Leonard's not an NFL quarterback.
Right.
He's a poor man's Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Is Tebow an NFL quarterback?
It's another excellent example. And don't you think Riley Leonard's probably getting about what Hartman got last year?
More.
Yeah. So he's absolutely making more money than he did.
And Pavia, I mean, he's not staying at Vandy. I don't think. Is he not in the portal?
I don't know what he is because up until yesterday afternoon he was
out
of eligibility. That's actually a really good question. What would Diego Pavia's market be? Because he's the king of Nashville right now. I mean,
so what?
Right.
I mean, they got 25 people that go to the games.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, the stadium's under construction,
Yeah, I understand.
That's an excellent question.
Most exciting season ever. They still have more people. I think one game they got 50-50.
Texas brought a bunch of people to that game.
Everybody brings people, Charlie.
Yeah, Nashville's a nice place to visit.
No, but I'm saying that I think for the first time, maybe Texas, they actually had as many as the visitors.
Oh,
they never have as many
right.
as Georgia, as Alabama.
Yeah.
Never.
LSU drank them out of vodka a couple of years ago. Remember that? The Burrow year. Yeah,
I thought it was beer.
I thought it was vodka. They were drinking screwdrivers and Bloody Marys, and they ran out of vodka.
You got your holiday spirit.
Neither would surprise me.
No,
nothing.
But I mean, who's a quarterback? I mean, Ohio State. Would you rather have Pavia or Howard?
Pavia.
Okay, go get him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't think they had $3 million to give him?
I'll give you one.
You don't think he can get more from Ohio State or Vanderbilt?
Ohio State.
Yes.
Sure, of course. Yesterday, Oklahoma got Ryan Mateer, the number one quarterback in the portal, a kid out of Washington State. But they had to hold off Miami. Miami came with a big offer. Last year, they got Cam Ward out of Ohio State. Okay, so we know that they came with a series. If you're Miami, you missed out on Mateer. We'll get Diego Pavia?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if they gave Ward $5 million?
That's what the rumor was $5 million.
$3.5?
Sure.
Don't you think? I mean, if you give Cam Ward, I think Pavia's worth $3.5 if Ward's worth $5.
And I don't blame Pavia for going after this money. I mean, he's not going to get it in the NFL. So if he can get this from Miami or Vandy or whoever,
probably not going to get drafted, huh?
I would be surprised. Yeah, he'll go to camp.
But, I mean, there are a ton of guys like this. But I mean, so you don't like it as a fan?
I haven't had enough time to digest it. I mean, my initial thing is junior college year should count. That there's Ryan
Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at Bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
If there was some other reason other than just straight NIL, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I'm in general, I don't think kids should be playing college football at the age of 25 or 26. Unless it's real, like I said, it's extreme cases. If you're going on a Mormon mission or you went to play professional baseball or something that didn't work out.
What is minor league baseball full of? It's got some of those that just don't translate to Major League Baseball, and it's got some rookies, and it's got some, So we got 17-year-olds to 27-year-olds.
I guess. I wish I could have got $3.5 million my last year in college.
Charlie, you were ready to get out.
I was. Took me long enough.
We're live at Jolie Pearl. How about the place, man? Huh?
Looks great.
It is decked out. You got family coming in, friends staying downtown. Hey, make this one of your meeting places. Photo ops galore over here. How do we go and watch this on video? How does this work? YouTube. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Do you position the camera appropriately?
I did. You're pointing right at
Are
it.
you panning during the commercial breaks and things like that?
I don't pan. I'm not a director. It's a still shot.
While I blow my nose with my sinuses working up?
One still.
Maybe I need to get some of the extra horseradish over there for the oysters. I love the Beausoleils, man. They're petite in size, but full of flavor. They're floating oysters. They're extremely clean. Some of the different oysters that we have over here at Jolie Pearl. But staying downtown, it's a must, man. It's a must. Come get one of our seasonal drinks. We've got a great holiday cocktail menu, and it is a great place to come and meet friends and take some pictures. And Charlie even does the Will Ferrell elf.
I'll take a picture with Will Ferrell today.
Yes, indeed. So Jolie Pearl downtown and Town Square Pizza right next door. If you haven't tried it, man, it is good. So you go down the line and, kind of like just pick, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that. Or you could do a specialty pizza. They put it in, prepare it right in front of you, put it in the oven. Comes out very fresh and piping hot. You talk about delicious. Grab and go pizza, basically. It's not bad warming up outside here downtown. So Jolie Pearl Town Square Pizza facing Town Square.
Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Jolie Pearl downtown, facing Town Square on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, plus the new LouisianaSports.net, and a new Handycast with the video of most of the transfer portal guys in. We recorded on Monday, but video and all those guys, you can check that out, Handycast on YouTube. Jimmy, handicapping bowl games has always been challenging because of the motivation. And then about 8 years ago, when Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette opted out of the bowl games, it started a trend that we've had to keep up with. Who's playing the bowl game, who's not. Now we got a new one. Yesterday, right when we were about to finish up, I said, Western Kentucky's got some guys in the portal, including Caden Veldkamp, their starting quarterback. And Max corrected me, thankfully, before we finished the show, that, he's in the transfer portal, but he's playing tonight. So now you got to not only check transfer portal guys, but you got to check how many transfer portal guys are playing. Veldkamp played last night, threw for over 300 yards. Western Kentucky had the lead at the half, and James Madison it ended up controlling the second half and winning the game 27-17. But now you got to really, really dig for the information
sites
to see.
Out there.
There are, but
Google.
What I'm saying is, don't just look at it and make the mistake I did yesterday. That guys in the transfer portal could still play tonight in New Orleans. Sam Houston, who is playing against Georgia Southern, has 23 guys in the transfer portal, but 20 of them are playing tonight.
Yeah.
So the coaches aren't wild about this calendar, and neither am I. But you can get in the transfer portal and still play, which I'm really kind of curious why Penn State can't talk the backup quarterback into sticking around. Through at least the first round of the playoffs, anyhow. But both favorites end up covering last night, James Madison and UNLV.
James Madison shouldn't have covered. Western Kentucky. They're trying to tie it up after Madison took a 7-point lead. They're catching 7.5, and the quarterback gets hit and he fumbles. So that sets up the go ahead, the covering field goal. I mean, they were running the clock out, and even then, they had about a 3.5-yard cushion if they were going on a 3rd and 3. If they make it, boom, that runs it to 2 minutes. They're out of timeouts. They take 3 knees, and you go home. And it would have, but it was a pre-snap penalty the play before. It was that tight at the end. And even at the end, Western Kentucky could have kicked a field goal and win. So it was really, really tough non-cover for Western Kentucky. The other game, not so much at all. The California SMU game. I like Cal. I thought the SMU would be a little bit
UNLV?
No, Cal SMU game to end the season. I thought that SMU would be a little tight with the pressure of, they're in the conference championship game. They were controlling their own destiny at that point in new territory.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Well, Mendoza gets sick. He's there, puts on his jersey, doesn't dress out, but he watches the game from the sideline. And I saw the backup, and I said, oh, this is bad. This is bad. So when he opts out, they went from a 3.5-point favorite to a 3-point underdog. And so then I watched the backup. Oh, and he was bad. Actually, the backup I saw against SMU, he was out for this game. So then you put in Harris. He was worse. And then they've promised this freshman, Kamenog, that he was going to play, and he was worse.
Give the Cal coaches credit. They had their quarterbacks in the right order.
They knew exactly where. This was unbelievable. I mean, UNLV is going up tempo. Russian Hajmali Kaluchi was pretty good last night. They were without their star receiver Kevin White. He's their best player, the most talented guy. But still, I mean, they are doing everything, and it doesn't go over because Cal's quarterback play was so freaking bad. I mean, it was so bad, man. Yes, it was just Mendoza saw the guy at SMU. They didn't score a touchdown against SMU, okay? Didn't score a touchdown. They scored one last night on a gadget play. Harris was awful, and Kamenog was, this was, so you knew they were playing backups. Sometimes the backups can have a little spark. We'll see about Tulane tomorrow. This guy was highly recruited. He was committed to Oregon at one point, or did he transfer from Oregon? Ty Thompson, Phil Steele had him listed as a projected starter.
Yeah.
Mensa was third string, but I don't know what was worse: Raiders, Atlanta, Monday night watching that offense, or watching the Cal quarterbacks last night.
Cal was worse, but I'll hear an argument for never wanting to watch a game like that Monday night game. Cal had a strange season. They won at Auburn. They were one of only two teams to lose to Florida State. They should have beat Miami.
Should have beat Florida State.
Yeah. They lost to Pitt by 2 at what I want to say was the very end of the game.
Missed
score.
A field goal late.
Yeah. They lost a 1-point game to NC State. At one point, they had lost 3 games by a total of 4 points. Mm-hmm. And
with their starting, but they just couldn't afford. But the league stepped in and cost them a Miami game. Jade Knott went from like 1,300 yards, like 350 this year. Their running game was nothing this year, and he made some runs last night. Man, he's really good. There's no daylight for him, man.
Wasn't a whole lot there.
What's the rule on that? What's the rule on? Did you saw the fake punt? UNLV.
No, I think I'd fallen asleep at that point.
So, no, this is early in the game.
I fall asleep early in games and wake up in the second half sometimes.
It's the second quarter.
I know. I've been known to nod off on the couch a little bit during some of these things.
I think it was 10-7, Cal's up, and they or maybe 3-0. And it's like from their own 35, 40-yard line, about 35. And everybody, basically punt rush was on for Cal.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the guy who was on the right basically run like he's running a flanker screen to the middle. So everybody's rushing up. It clears out for him. He's by himself. But all of the protection was basically everybody's downfield.
They released,
There's 7 guys downfield. Illegal man downfield, but if you report that to is that kind of like the holder can have his knee on the ground?
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, you just get away with it because I mean the point and emphasis this year where they're calling way more. You have, especially in the NFL, but so much more. An ineligible receiver downfield, lineman downfield. And all of them were downfield when they ran this little shove. It was kind of a shovel pass. He faked like he was going to do a little. Kind of like a little rugby kick, and it was beautifully executed. But I'm just wondering the rule on that. If you report, obviously, all trick plays, the coaches alert the officials. Hey, we're running a swinging gate.
Yeah.
When we do this, look, we will have 7 on the line, but there's just going to be jumbled. But you have to alert them before the game.
I gotta look that one up. I hadn't thought about it, and I think that was one of the points I dozed off.
But it went for about 50 yards. Cal's getting the ball with the lead, but no, they punched out. UNLV, man, it's a big Mullen interviewed. I mean, got a lot of momentum going, and they're not a bad team, but man, they're one game away from making a playoff. Come on, man.
I know.
I mean, Boise and Arizona State. This.
We do enough shows in August when we're sitting there, trying to predict things. We didn't have Indiana and SMU in the playoff.
But is that? My March Madness, I like seeing College of Charleston, and, I don't know about my college football. And I understand that the teams that were under consideration had their own problems.
Yeah.
I know. There's no question. At what point do you penalize them? How many chances do they get? But damn, I mean, all the home venues, man, it could be great. It's freezing cold, and there's no traditional SEC venues in it.
Not a one. With the NCAA basketball tournaments, like you like to see College of Charleston in the first round.
First weekend.
You don't want to see them in the Final Four.
First couple, yeah. I don't have a problem with Florida Atlantic making that run, but it's just basketball. You can shoot. I mean, football. I don't know, man. Some of the resumes of the teams in here are lacking. Don't forget our friends over at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. I sure wish I knew about Relief Windows, the original construction of my home, because if your homeowners association requires wood windows, you got to get Relief Windows. So Relief Windows, they're RLS gel wind windows. I mean, they are they're awesome, man. They are they come with a guarantee, and they are a 20-year general warranty and a lifetime limited warranty against rot, termites, and providing years of beauty and minimal maintenance. The gel wind windows combine the beauty of real wood, high-tech energy efficiency with all of the climate zones, perfect for these extreme weather conditions in South Louisiana. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com.
Live as Jolie Pearl and Town Square Pizza, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Well, let's look at the scoreboard from last week. Washington Capitals minus $1.66. Winner. Las Vegas Golden Knights plus 105. Winner. Vancouver Canucks plus 150. Winner. Winner, 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 winner. Spaghetti dinner. Hey, Colucci.
ET is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at Bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Hello.
I know he's there.
Hello.
You got one of these bad connections again.
There he is.
There he is. There
Come
he
on,
is.
man. You got to stop with these remote, gigs because it's just killing me.
Well done last week, sir. Well done. Let's get to it right now with who we got tonight on the ice.
Yeah, there's a pretty good slate, I'll be honest with you. And you were saying the Vancouver Knuckleheads. Well, let me tell you, they've been on a long road, guys. I'll be honest with you. Look at this road trip that they're currently on. And they beat some really good teams, and they lost some bad teams. I mean, they beat Florida, I believe, which that was on December 12th in a 4-0 shutout. Then they beat Colorado on the 16th, but they got crushed by Boston on the 14th. They played last night. They lost 3-2. Thank God Thatcher Demko is back for them, but they're coming into the Fortress tonight. Vegas Golden Knights are playing at an incredible level. Jimmy, Charlie, I can't believe it. They just keep going on like a machine. I split a season ticket now, with a good friend of mine and his wife, and I got the tail end of the season. I'm kind of scared that I missed most of the wins early in the season, guys, but Vegas Golden Knights look really strong. You got to take them tonight. I mean, at the Fortress, we're looking at 170 at the Rampart South Point, so you could probably get one maybe 160 if you shop around, but I'm really not seeing that out there, guys. But we're one of the lowest in town. 170 Golden Knights at the Fortress tonight. Looking at them, I definitely like their chances. Okay, another team that's been up and down, the St. Louis Blues. We've documented them several times this year, guys. We've bet them ever since they made the coaching change. They picked up the former Bruins coach. They went on a nice little winning streak. Now they've come down to earth a little, and they're facing a team that has won 5 out of 6 in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Lightning have rectified the ship, guys. Trust me. You're seeing a big spread, but you could easily lay this spread tonight. 220 at the Rampart and South Point. I might even recommend goal line in this game. Lay the puck line, lay the puck and a half. 17-10-2. Tampa's really riding high. And if you look at the teams that they beat in that, they weren't the best teams, but they did manhandle Vancouver. If you look at it on December 8th at Vancouver, that was a strong win. They lost at Edmonton, but they won at Calgary. They won at Seattle. Then they came back home and bucked the trend, which is notorious, first game home off the road trip, and they destroyed Columbus. So why not beat St. Louis? This is definitely a game that they want to have in their holster, especially with Florida coming up right before the Christmas break. So I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Lightning as well tonight. The New Jersey Devils, they've done nothing wrong this year, guys. I'm sorry that we keep going the favorite route, but the Devils are probably the best team in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. Another team that has won 5 out of 7, 3 in a row, just starting their road trip now. They won at St. Louis the other night, 4-1. We had them. That was a nice little victory. Not playing the top-notch competition that you like to see them play, but they're winning the games that they should. And they did earlier in the month beat the Rangers and as well as the Los Angeles Kings, who are playing very well. So hate to give you three favorites tonight, but we can lay puck line on all three of these guys and make a bonanza parlay. Devils, Vegas Golden Knights, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's what I'm looking at tonight, guys.
Is that what you called yours last week, Charlie, the bonanza?
Yeah, when I go 3 for 3. And,
Charlie parlayed him last week, the bonanza. So, at our local shop here, the DraftKings outlet at the Queen, Vegas Golden Knights are -170. Tampa Bay and New Jersey both -225. So, like Colucci was saying, if you lay that puck and a half, you can get an empty net goal. Sometimes at the end when they pull the goalie, +114 with the Devils, -1.5 and -1.5. Let's see, +54 with the Golden Knights, and with the Tampa Bay +120. All right, the four college football matchups are set for the playoff. This seeding is according to seeding. It's not no automatic seeds, so not the automatic seed. So this is the stronger teams according to the rankings at home. So this is what you're going to have. You're going to have all the home teams with a significant line here, all over a touchdown. They're betting the chalk and they're betting the dogs on these four games, Kaluch.
Well, they're going both ways, I'll be honest with you. You know, you look at this first round of the playoffs, and it's definitely, some solid games. You're looking at Notre Dame and Indiana. Notre Dame, on the 20th, they're -7 currently at the Rampart in South Point. This is a tough game to get a handle on. I mean, I think Indiana played really well this year, but the game that they needed to win, they really didn't. So we did open this game, guys, at 9. So we're seeing dog action here. I kind of like Indiana, but I like them a lot better with 9 than I do with a solid touchdown. And you're looking at the total. It's been bet up from 50.5 to 52. So that game, we're actually taking some dog action. Now, you're looking more dog action in the other games on Friday. But moving on to the playoff games now as well, Penn State, they're at the Rampart in South Point. We opened the game at 8. It's at 8.5. So a little favorite action there, but it's mostly teasers and parlays as I look at the landscape of the betting there. Texas, we opened them at 11. Naturally, they're getting hammered. They're up to 12. 51.5 the total has stayed the same in that game. Texas, Georgia's the nemesis. We know what's happening there, and it's welcome to the SEC. You guys are totally, hip to that. Texas is a much better team, if you ask me, on paper than Clemson. But anything could happen in these first-round games. And you're seeing Ohio State, we opened it at 7, went past the key number of 7 to 7.5. This is a tough game to handicap. Tennessee has played very well this year. Ohio State seems to win the games they need to, but they did underachieve a little this year. So this is another game where you're going to see some good two-way action. It may even get back to 7, but we did go past the initial number of 7 to 7.5, meaning the Sharps took Ohio State. They jumped on it real quick. Ticket count is real close in that game, though, like I was saying. And getting back to ticket count in some of the other games, even though we're high on the Indiana money, we do have a higher ticket count on Notre Dame, meaning that all the, regular handicappers and consumers are basically teasing and parlaying the favorite, like you said, Jimmy. A lot of these, the general public loves a favorite. They love high-scoring games. So you're going to see a lot of the parlays and teasers from the $5 and $10 consumers that are on the teams like Penn State, Texas, Ohio State, as well as Notre Dame. They're the famous names, but that doesn't mean they're going to win the games, guys, and that doesn't mean that the money is always significantly on that side. Case in point, we're seeing some Tennessee buyback now real quick in this game. Money is almost even, and ticket count is almost even. So take that into consideration. It was the initial response jumping from the Sharps on Ohio State that moved that to 7.5. Like I said, you could easily see this game go back to 7 here at the Rampart in South Point.
Hey, Kaluch, one of the games tomorrow, we got a triple header of bowl games that started at 11:2:30 and 11:2:30 leading into the night game with Indiana and Notre Dame. That's a 9 and 12:30 your time. But the second game, an LSU opponent, an SEC team, and an in-state team, Tulane in Florida. We've seen significant line movement on this game the last 24 hours or so. It was 13. Florida was laying 13. Now it's 10.5. Are you getting a similar movement at the Rampart?
Yeah, we opened it at 12, Jimmy, and now it's at 10.5. It seems that the market is pretty settled on this game now. I'm seeing some 11s in Las Vegas as well. They did take the underdog in this game. I'm not really so sure why. Ticket count is real close. The money is high, though, on Tulane, definitely here at the Rampart in South Point. That's been the initial reaction. That's a 12:30 start time here in Las Vegas, and 3:30, I believe, in your neck of the woods. So definitely an exciting game, like you said. But the game is a home game for Florida. Remember, it's played at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Not really where the campus is located, but it's right there. So, not much travel for either team, like you pointed and hit the nail on the head. And always keep in mind, in the first round of the playoffs, the bottom team is the home team. So always keep that in mind. These games are played at home for Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, and Ohio State.
Any of the other bowl games are getting the crazy type of action? We saw last night with the local team, UNLV went from 3.5-point dog to 3-point favorite, 3 or 3.5 based on California's quarterback opting out last minute, Mendoza. But any other of these games that you see in a lot of movement?
Yeah, against Coastal Carolina, UTSA, they went from 8.5 to 10.5. So we're seeing a lot of action on that game. Not much on Fresno, San Jose State. There's not much movement on those two games. We did open Pitt at 7.5, and some other properties opened it way higher than that, and they're down to 7 now. So there's big movement. People are betting Toledo. We only opened it at 7.5, and it's down to 7. But other shops, like I said, I've seen 9.5s and 10s that are down to 7 now. So the initial response here is to take Toledo against Pittsburgh. Rutgers, very solid action, two-way action on that game. Get to another SEC team, Vandy. Georgia Tech is 2.5. Not much action on that game as well. Oklahoma is definitely one of the focal points. We opened this game at 8.5, guys. Now it's down to 4.5.
Wow.
Against Navy. Yes. So there's big movement there. 8.5 opener at the Rampart South Point. Now currently 4.5. Total hasn't moved that much, though, from 44 down to 43.5. But here's another one, Texas Tech. We opened this game at 3. Now Arkansas is 2 in the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. So there's some massive movement in that game. And these are a lot of guys sitting out, getting ready for the pros, transfer portal, whatever you want to call it. And it started to hinder the game when Willis McGahee went down. You guys remember that back in the day. He really hurt his draft stock. He had to sit out a full season. And, then a lot of these players were perceptive. Hey, look, I don't have to play in this bowl game. Here's another case in point. You got Syracuse. We opened 7.5 against Washington State. Now it's 14, guys. And I'm seeing 15s around town in some of the other properties. So a lot of these games are taking massive action. Big matchup here, Texas A&M, bet from 3 to 3.5 against USC. That's here in Las Vegas. Not really a home field game for USC, but you will have more people from Southern Cal commuting than Texas A&M. But like I said, you saw this game. It opened at 3, and Texas A&M went up to 3.5. Some of the other properties in town opened it at 2 and got plied with money. So, it just goes to show you how sharp Jimmy and Chris and the boys are, myself included, at the Rampart and South Point. We're not getting hurt on these games on severe line movements. We kind of anticipated where some of the flow was going to go in these games. But you could see there's some massive movement. Just shop around town, and you could possibly find, discrepancies in the lines, guys.
Kaluch, we always appreciate your time, man. Have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas. And
definitely, guys. Love you guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And Kaluchi, South Point, and the Rampart.
All right. Thank you, Dwayne. And follow him on Twitter at NYBookieDwayne. Don't forget our friends at Workbox Services. Workbox, again, Martin Padial and them have been doing this for a long, long time. That they've shifted some things around. They're not doing the portalettes. They're not doing the dumpsters anymore. But for all of you more movable storage needs, commercial and residential, man, the shipping containers come in all kinds of sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate controls, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial a call at Workbox 343-4886 and WorkboxLLC.com.
Live is Jolie Pearl and Town Square Pizza, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
The Thibodeau store, as we close in on Christmas, your chance to get up and get some last-minute gift items, some unique things, like the Cypress furniture that they make down at the Thibodeau store. These are porch swings, these are gliders, these are rockers, chairs, and benches. A lot of unique items at the Thibodeau store. You can't get them anywhere else. Tons of crawfish pots, jambalaya pots, a large selection of grills, including the big green egg cookers available at the Thibodeau store. Also, if you look at heaters, huge supply of heaters as the weather starts to get a little bit colder. You can get those on the website at ThibodeauStore.com. A lot of Cajun cookware, especially cookware. They'll ship it right to your door if you go to the website at ThibodeauStore.com. Their sister property, the Pierre Part Store, has been in business for 113 years. Just recently celebrated that anniversary. So you know you're going to get the home improvement specialists and great gift ideas for the holidays. Online, ThibodeauStore.com, and in person, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Jolie Pearl downtown, facing Town Square on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Jimmy, I know you're favoring the under in the Tennessee-Ohio State game.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at this, 7 of the 8 teams that are playing the college football playoff are in the top 10 defensively in yards per play allowed. Everybody but Clemson. And at University Park, at Beaver Stadium, 26 degrees at kickoff. At Notre Dame Stadium, 27 degrees at kickoff. At the Shoe, 28 degrees at kickoff. Again, every game, but Clemson and Texas is going to be played in sub-freezing temperatures.
What is it in Penn State?
27 degrees
during the day, huh? Noon kickoff.
Yeah, 26 degrees at Penn State, 27 degrees at Notre Dame, 28 degrees at Ohio State. So basically the same.
Columbus and South Bend should be because they're at night.
Yeah, you would
be the coldest.
And it's going to be, let's just say, sub-freezing temperatures everywhere. No snow in the forecast, but sub-freezing temperatures and great defenses. And, you got Notre Dame, Indiana totals 52.5, 53.5 at Penn State. Yeah. Now, the Tennessee-Ohio State total is down at 45.5. But we could be looking at really these old-time college football games where it's tough to throw the football, tough to catch the football, tough to kick the football in all of these things. I don't know. It seems like under is something that you should really consider in all 3 of these games.
Yeah, I agree. And, the high-profile games like this, I mean, a lot of people like to play the overs. I mean, the public's going to come with them, but especially Ohio State, Tennessee, because they also don't trust their quarterbacks as much, so they want to lean on it. So, no, I agree, Charlie. It's a lot of Big Ten fans have been we want to play, the SEC teams and cold weather. Well, you got it. Congratulations.
Live is Jolie Pearl, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Jolie Pearl downtown, facing Town Square on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Jolie Pearl and Town Square Pizza, the Christmas explosion, this entire facility decked out in real festive holiday atmosphere. You want to take some pictures, come down. If you're walking downtown, be sure to come on in, get something to eat, get something to drink, and take a look. It's a festive atmosphere, to say the least. They do it every year here at Jolie Pearl. I think it takes them the better part of 2 days, I think, to deck out the entire restaurant the way that they do. And it looks fantastic, so come on down.
Looks great. Looks great, Charlie.
It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life, anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+. All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for 50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
You have an opinion on the Broncos and Chargers tonight, Thursday Night Football?
Some of the first time they played, it was kind of no contest. Denver was not competitive, and
they had a couple of late touchdowns, but they'd gotten blown out in the whole game. They scored like 2 late touchdowns late. It was I think it was 23-0 going to fourth quarter, and then they got a couple of garbage scores late.
They were not competitive.
No, they got blown out.
And that hasn't been the case a whole lot for their season. And some think that maybe the Chargers have hit a wall, but that Taylor fumbling, the pick six where kind of the throwback at near midfield by the Colts, where the linebacker, the same linebacker that picked Jameis Winston off on the Monday night game for a pick six, he took it for another one. That's really masked the struggles for Bo Nix as of late. He's been turning the ball over. He just hasn't been real good. They didn't have 200 yards of offense, and the Colts are not a good defensive team. So I don't know, man. I don't know where they are.
They've won 6 out of 8 since that game you're talking about, the first game with the Chargers. Now, one of those games they got blown out in Baltimore, but the other loss was the blocked field goal in Kansas City, where they're a 35-yard field goal away from having won 7 out of 8.
Yeah, Nix is if Taylor wouldn't have fumbled the ball and the Colts just going, they'd be talking about Nix hitting this rookie wall right now, and that's what I'm wondering about. Herbert's banged up. He was favored that ankle when he took a hit last week. They were fortunate the Falcons gave them that game a couple of weeks ago when they were that's a game that they won with under 200 yards as well. I'm not sure about tonight's game.
Nix had gone 10 games where he had only thrown 2 interceptions in the middle of the season. He's thrown 5 the last 2 weeks.
The last 2 weeks.
He threw 2 against Cleveland, and he threw 3 against the Colts.
Yeah.
So he was going – you're right. He started off a little bit slow, and then he seemed to be really gaining some confidence. Peyton was opening up the playbook a little bit.
He definitely has. Gradually over the season, they even went tempo a little bit, if you remember that Cleveland game. And he's just making some plays, but making some mistakes as well. So he's kind of at a little bit of a reset. You know, everybody, Bo Nix, man, he's challenging for offensive. Not even close to Daniels. No. And again, the thing with Daniels was, okay, the Pittsburgh game, they defended him a little bit. Who was a Philadelphia? Jalen Carter. I mean, they were able to show special attention on McLaurin, and he only could throw to him twice. Now we'll see the rematch this time, but you know that there was some. The Colts are terrible on defense this year. And Nix threw those 3 picks and didn't have 200 yards. I'm telling you, man, they lose like they're supposed to. And they, the win masked a lot of his deficiencies lately. So now what does Peyton do? Does he reset and he starts spoon-feeding this guy again? Make the opposing to not lose the games as opposed to winning them? Because You know, those turnovers should have cost him the game last week.
The other thing that has emerged in the second half of the season is that Cortland Sutton, who's been a number one receiver for a few years in the league, he's really gotten into a comfort zone with him. And Sutton he's got right at twice as many receptions as the next guy. That's his guy. And their running game is it's nothing special.
Payton's going to run the ball, though.
He is. If you've listened to Sean Payton over the years when he's with the Saints, every time he complained about his offense, he said, it's because we're not running the ball enough, and that's on me. And usually
And that was with Drew Brees, too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy. So I think it's an interesting spot now. You know, he's got to reset and reevaluate things because, I mean, look at that Cleveland game. Look how many times he threw the ball. And look at earlier. That number is a little too high. And I think he's got to kind of take a step back. I mean, you thought, everything was just so gradual, so spoon-fed. And he tried to cut him loose a little bit, and it hadn't worked out the last couple games.
The Chargers, that was one of the most surprising scores to me last week, that they got blasted as bad as they did by Tampa. But what do we say in the middle of the season when the Chargers were really rolling? Not so much the Saints game, but the Bengals game where they had a lot of – Justin Herbert looked healthy. He really looked healthy for the first time in probably 2 seasons, and now he's hurt again. He's playing, but the one interception last week was on a deep ball. He misfired on a couple down by the end zone throws that he usually makes, and without him playing at that level that he was playing at the middle of the season, you're really starting to see they've lost 3 out of 4 now. Games were competitive up until last week, and then they play Tampa, and Tampa goes in there and just routs them. That was a surprise
weird.
to me.
They responded. Tampa took an early lead, and they were rolling, and they went up 17-10, and they were going in for 10 or 14-point lead at half, and that turnover kind of really just shifted everything and saved them from falling behind by double digits, and then they come back and just destroyed them. And you wonder about that defense if it's finally wearing down a little bit because they were able to run the ball, and I mean it wants to shorten games. I mean he wants to let the opposing team beat them, and I mean the only win that they have in those 4 games is that Atlanta game where Atlanta gave it to them. I mean, Cousins throwing the ball away so many times, and I mean they won that game with under 200 yards. They did very little against Atlanta in that game.
So the line tonight is 2.5 right now. The Chargers 2.5, total 41.5. I'd almost lean a little bit toward the under.
Yeah, I mean it's 2 teams that want to get back to shortening the game, and I mean year 2 and this is what it's been for most of the season with Peyton in year 2. And with his rookie quarterback in Harbaugh, you know what he wants to do. But I don't know. They're both are kind of stumbling to the end. And how many the Jets had the missed field goal to look at some of these teams win, whether it's Chargers or the Broncos, and it's a lot of the times it's more. I mean Winston on Monday night throwing the ball away a million times. I mean they're driving trying to win the game. And he throws the pick 6, and then he threw the interception in the end zone, even cost him a cover as well. But no, they both of these coaches have most of their wins where the opponents had lost the game as opposed to their winning it.
Yeah. The other NFL note that we'll pass along is that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was signed by the Saints yesterday to the practice squad. They don't know if Alvin Kamara is going to be able to play on Monday night with that groin injury. They're hoping that he gets out there. They'd like to get him to 1,000 yards. He's never had 1,000 yards, which is kind of a surprising statistic when you look at it. Edwards-Helaire was the last pick of the first round the year they took him after LSU's national championship season. He had a good rookie year. It's kind of fallen off after that. Lost his job to Isaiah Pacheco, but we'll see if he's got anything left. He's only 25 years old. I hate to say it like that, but his play had dropped off in Kansas City. And
when did the Chiefs let him go?
Monday, I think. It
okay.
Was. No, he didn't stay on the market long. He had been dealing with PTSD from that incident that happened up in Scotlandville when he was at LSU, and he's still dealing with that. There was
PTSD. What is that?
Post-traumatic stress disorder from the shooting that he witnessed.
Oh, okay.
When they had he was selling a video game, and there were, I think it was 3 LSU players up there. One of the guys that was involved in this thing got shot, and he's dealt with that mentally ever since. It's something he's been very candid about in public. So, wish him the best. Hopefully, be able to help the Saints out.
Don't forget our friends at MR Property Group, buying, selling, or investing. My friends and LSU alums, Miriam Del Rio, Remy Curry, big LSU sports fans. It makes much more pleasant experience to partner up with someone with common interests. So low-pressure suggestions, but when asked, we will provide anything. We understand that there are no dumb questions in this process. It's a very, very big transaction for you. Finding the options that you're interested in, great at negotiating for the sellers. We've got a great track record of top price for the properties in all of the greater Baton Rouge area. Thinking about selling, you may not realize just how much equity you have in your home. MR Property Group with Keller Williams Red Stick Partners in Baton Rouge, 230-4242, 230-4242.
Live in Jolie Pearl and Town Square Pizza, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Jolie Pearl downtown, facing Town Square on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at Jolie.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. Everybody needs some variety in life. That's what I love about Chumba Casino. They know how to keep things fresh and exciting. All their games are free to play, like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire. You can claim free daily login bonuses, too. And they release new games every week. So spice things up with ChumbaCasino.com now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Pearl, Town Square Pizza, downtown Baton Rouge. Kenny White with us at the bottom of the hour today. Last night, the SEC with another quad one win. Oklahoma with a 4-point play, down 3 with under 10 seconds to go, get a three-pointer and a foul, make the free throw. Michigan misses on the other end, and Oklahoma stays undefeated with an 87-86 win. I'll talk about the game first, and then some more startling stats about the Southeastern Conference. Jimmy,
is daily, huh?
3, yeah, I know. 3. We go through these scenarios all the time. Up 3. And what do you
basically shot clock and a game clock are the same.
Yeah, and he shot the ball with, I want to say it was 7.8 seconds to go. Actually, it was 11.
About 12.
11, yeah. And whether you believe in fouling up 3 or not, you certainly don't want to foul on a three-point shot. Kid made the free throw. Michigan goes back down. They miss the three-pointer. They get the offensive rebound, but don't get it away.
Yeah.
Don't make it anyway. So this is another
Grandmama's play, huh? Is Larry Johnson against the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah, I forgot
down
about that.
3, got an N1 for 4-point play.
Of all the things that you don't want to do, that is absolutely at the top of the list.
Think it was a good call?
He fouled him. I've certainly seen that not called. He got him. He got him on the arm. It wasn't flagrant or anything. I've seen him let that go. But yeah, it was a foul.
They had just lost. Their leading scorer had just fouled out, so he was their main guy. They obviously ran the play for him, but Michigan had Oklahoma on the ropes various times throughout the game, and Oklahoma just kind of kept hanging around. This was kind of a weird little neutral court. I thought Oklahoma was the home team. They were listed as the home team. But they're playing. It was men, women's.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 days in Charlotte. So the Florida beat North Carolina, the men, and then the women played before this game last night, and Oklahoma, Michigan women. But Charlie, the SEC was on pace to have the highest conference RPI in the history of the sport since they've been doing the RPI. It was at a 5.95. They're now at a .612. So this thing is, you've gotten 2 games this week where, they're winning a lot, but a lot of these games they're favored in. They were underdog. South Carolina was an underdog to Clemson. Oklahoma was an underdog to Michigan last night. So it was just it was a really, really good game, but a brutal game. For Dusty. The big guy, the transfer from Florida Atlantic, Golden, is really, really a handful to deal with. He's having a great year for Dusty May. So Michigan, but let one get away last night.
Southeastern Conference, that made 23 Quad 1 wins. To put that into perspective, the Big 12 and the ACC combined have 23 Quad 1 wins. So you're talking about 34 teams in the ACC and the Big 12 combined have as many Quad 1 wins as the Southeastern Conference has with the 16 teams. Even the Big 10, which is a very good basketball league, trails them by 7. Lenardi at this point has 13. Now this is going to even out a little bit. 13 SEC teams in the current field, which is unheard of, and it won't stay that way. But
16-team conferences are unheard of too.
Sure.
So, it's kind of like breaking NFL records as they increase the
length of the season. Sure, but I think they're going to get 10. You said, what was it, a couple 3 weeks ago? Hey, look, 7-11 in the SEC. There's going to be a 7-11 team make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think so. The way it goes. Oklahoma's 11-0. What do you think their NET is?
34.
Why so low?
They had a light schedule early. I don't know what it is. I'm not looking at it right now.
39.
It's 39. Okay. They had a light schedule early, is what I seem to remember.
Wow. I mean, Michigan was 21 last night. You beat them on neutral.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't get a little bit more of a hit.
They jumped up from 44 to 30. I mean, yeah, I'd say it's light.
The SEC had 10 teams inside of the top 30 in the NET yesterday. See what's dragging Oklahoma down is they had 3 games against teams with nets in the 300s. So they weren't just playing, rent-a-win teams. They were playing really bad rent-a-win teams. Like one of them was Stetson. Stetson's 358. LSU beat them the other night. Stetson scored 10 points in the first half.
So Lenardi's got 13, right? So he's got Oklahoma in, Arkansas in, Texas in.
Everybody but LSU, South Carolina, and Vandy.
He doesn't have Vandy in?
No, LSU and Vandy are his next 4 out. So even
Vandy's 10-1, got a 40. I mean, Oklahoma, Vandy, Texas, and Arkansas are your bubble teams right now.
Right now,
and all the others are, top 25 RPI or better. On NET are better. Oklahoma, that lack of schedule, but that was a big one for them last night.
They actually had 4 because they played the SWAC is up this year, but not Alcorn State. They're 0-11. They had a 350 net. They played them too, and even the name teams, the brand teams that they have played, Georgia Tech and Oklahoma State are in the hundreds, so they're not as good. So that's why their net, even with the undefeated record, is not exactly as good as it would be. And let's like I say, you play Stetson. Stetson scored 10 points the other night in the first half against LSU.
It was like 30-3 or something.
At one point, 30-3, 30-4, whatever it was. It was the third lowest amount of points scored against LSU in a half of basketball. One of them, they held Auburn to 6 points about 7 or 8 years ago, and the other game I know you'll remember, they were playing North Carolina in 80. I think it was 82.
Who's this?
No,
that was the Jerry Reynolds game. It was in a neutral site game in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, and the score was like 21-9 at the half.
Yes. North Carolina could not score. Reynolds and LSU couldn't score either, and he had about 3 or 4 like steals and breakaways, and that was it. I mean, it was ugly. North Carolina came back and won.
That wasn't a game where Kenny Smith broke his arm, though. That was another game. That was at Chapel Hill, wasn't it?
I believe
because LSU played him more
John
than once.
Tudor clobbered Kenny Smith in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, North Carolina still thinks that cost them a national title, and it very well may have. They were really good that year too.
But
Smith was
Jerry Reynolds was the guy because he was from that area, right?
I thought he was at Queens.
Yeah. So I mean, from the sort of the New York area. Speaking of kind of going back and playing where you're from, did you see? This is where you do schedule these. Did you see where Alabama played last night?
In North Dakota.
Why?
Got a player from there?
Nelson.
Okay. I didn't know which one it was.
Played 3 years with him. Kid for North Dakota goes for 40 last night. It's tied with 2:45 to go.
I didn't see any of that game. I noticed the score, and I thought that
place
was unusual.
Going bananas.
I'm sure it was.
They still had a pocket of some of Nelson's people that had his stuff. He did this with Brandon Miller. They went and played a game in Macon, Georgia.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's doing a pretty good job at roster building, but this thing is tied. And so what does he do? Nelson in his homecoming. I mean, he gets the ball in the paint, kind of lowers his shoulder a little bit for a little separation, gets a bucket, gets a rebound, gets fouled, shoots 2, gets another rebound. He had like 3 rebounds and 6 points in the last 2.5 minutes, and they win by about 6. So it was a nice homecoming for him. But he played 3 years there.
I didn't realize it was him, and I didn't get to see.
But I mean,
any of that game.
Yeah, but where are you playing?
What are you doing in North Dakota?
North Dakota on campus.
You always look for reasons. If you got a player, you say, hey, listen. If that closes the the deal in recruiting,
if that gets you the player, I mean, what's it? But who was it that played UCLA 2 nights ago? It was from the SWAC. It was like Pine Bluff or somebody. Maybe, but we talk about the travel, on, UCLA in football, had to go to Baton Rouge, had to go to Piscataway, New Jersey, Happy Valley, like Michigan.
Prairie View is who they played.
Yeah, Prairie View. So they played in UCLA. I mean, the college basketball, Charlie.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow. It's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
The travel's already there. I mean, we got Bama playing in North Dakota. We got Prairie View playing in UCLA. We've got, Southern played. I mean, that's all over.
Well, you always had that in November, December, because they play these holiday tournaments. The difference is now you're going to have this extreme travel in
play
February.
Closer in November, December to offset the travel when it comes to, when Oregon has to go to Rutgers.
And most of the time, these teams will schedule multiple games. Like Prairie View played Loyola Marymount a couple of days before that. So when if you're going to make this
Which
trip,
is in Los Angeles,
get more than one game in. If you go to a tournament or if you're going to go play one of these games, find somebody else to play.
UConn survived a scare last night. Xavier brought them into overtime, but they were able to win that one. Memphis, Virginia, was up 9, I think, at half. Memphis, after that overtime win at Clemson, trying to make a little ACC, true road games at Little John on Clemson's campus and Charlottesville at Virginia's campus. And this is the best shooting team that Penny Hardaway has had. It's the best ball movement team, best kind of basketball IQ team. Virginia was game last night. They didn't cover the spread, but there was -4. But these are two nice wins for Memphis. Memphis has kind of been on were they one and done? Was it last year? Or that was 2 years ago they lost to Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Had them beat. Last year, I'm trying to think. I think they were like maybe one win or not. But they're 33 in their RPI this year. They got Mississippi State Saturday. You got a lot of really good Purdue at Auburn on Saturday. You got some really good games. Missouri, Illinois, that's kind of that little border war between those teams. Ohio State goes to Kentucky. Ohio State's not that strong this year. But you got some really good ones. And did you see who blew out Creighton last night?
Ed Cooley and
to
Georgetown. Yeah, that one caught my attention because I'm a big fan of Cooley. I think he's terrific
this is
at
his
Providence.
second year.
Yeah.
Took it on a chin. Compromised roster build in the abbreviated recruiting class, but he's got a better team. And not only that, Charles, Saturday they played at Syracuse.
They won that game, right?
Yeah, they were winning most of it. Syracuse made a run look like it was going to be one of those tough losses. Very similar to Memphis being in control most of the game against Clemson. Clemson made a run. So they said we're going to lose. Nope. They came back, won that game, and they're 2-0. 2-0 in the Big East. And Cooley, they blasted Creighton last night.
And
blasted
that's a Creighton team that beat Kansas when Kansas was number 1. I've been a big Cooley fan for a while. When you went into Providence, man, you better get ready because those teams were always really, really competitive. And we had this debate when he took this job 2 years ago. I mean, he was going home a little bit, but how many?
Why?
Right.
Did he make Providence a better job?
Yeah. How good is the Georgetown job? I mean, it's just to be when John Thompson was there. This is one of the premier programs in college basketball. Hasn't been for a while. Ewing put that one tournament run together in the Big East tournament to get them in, but other than that, Georgetown's been basically a laughingstock for the last two or 3 years, and they haven't been really good in a while.
Now
he makes a difference. He makes a huge difference.
They still got some work to do. I mean,
yeah, it's just a good start.
Their NET is 79. So, they another possible game, at Seton Hall, a team that they might be better than, but, it's a road game within the conference. They're full-blown in conference right now. Creighton, Charlie, Creighton, they may have some work to do. When's the last time they hadn't made it to the tournament?
Oh gosh,
their NET is 80.
I don't know if McDermott's ever missed it. Oh, he's been there about 12 years.
They're 80.
They're 80 with a win over Kansas. Now, it was a home win, but still.
They played a brutally tough schedule. They went to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. But it's 7-5. That loss last night knocked them from 67 to 80.
They missed the tournament.
They had a spot.
They missed the tournament twice in the last 15 years. So
yeah,
very very unusual.
I mean, like I said, that Omaha, that thing is. I don't care who they play. I don't care if they play from Prairie View to Kansas. That thing is sold out every night. So, but that is a surprise because Kalkbrenner is one of the best bigs, and he came back. He was really good last year, and they just they're struggling right now.
The margin really surprised me last night.
What's that?
The margin surprised me that they were beaten that badly.
Yeah, blasted last night. Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest branch at Burbank and Bluebonnet. They been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. A great team of bankers: Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry, and Prentice Wilkes. Wants to wish you and yours Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live is Jolie Pearl and Town Square Pizza. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. 104.5.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Jolie Pearl downtown, facing Town Square on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And a return here at Jolie Pearl, Town Square Pizza, downtown Baton Rouge. Our contributors have some last-minute Christmas shopping to do today. But Kenny White sent us his picks. Jimmy, he had some good ones last week. He put us on some unconventional stuff. We had a women's basketball pick last week that covered easy.
Notre Dame.
Yep.
Yeah, Notre Dame against UConn. So
catching points and
never trailed.
Gave us a hockey pick.
There was a hockey total last week on the Nashville game, so that that went under. So he's got the first two games in the college football playoff. He's going with the Dogs, Charlie. So Indiana, those that 8.5 or 9 is pretty much gone. Indiana is now +7. So he likes Indiana plus the 7. You think they'll get back to 7.5?
No, I don't.
A public dog here, maybe?
Not with. If the sharp money was going to push it back in the other direction, I think they would have jumped before now. I think that there's like Colucci was telling us earlier. I think there's a significant amount of money. There's a significant amount of support for the underdog here, and I got to tell you, Jimmy, putting the stuff together for the picks tomorrow, I am really tempted, and not exactly blind, to bet all 4 underdogs and all 4 unders, and go with and roll with it as it may. Texas may blow Clemson right out of the stadium, and they may score 40-something points, but I'm going to make Quinn Ewers do that because they have not put those big point totals up against. I don't think Arkansas is any better than Clemson. I don't think that Texas A&M is any better than Clemson. They couldn't put more than 21 points on the board, 20 points on the board against either one of them. It's not just the Georgia game. So I'm kind of tempted to just say, give me the dogs and give me the unders.
Yeah, he also likes SMU and Penn State. SMU plus 8.5 at the Queen. It's 9, Charlie. So he does like the 2 dogs in both of the early games. 56% of the tickets at DraftKings are on Indiana plus 9. 48% of the tickets on SMU. So pretty doggone split between these two games. The over in the Penn State game, 61% of the tickets there. The over in the still betting the overs of 54, but not as as extreme as some of those. So Kenny coming with the two dogs. Do you think SMU will benefit? Do you will get some of their big stage jitters out the way because they started so slow last week against Clemson?
Yes, absolutely. If you take the first 8 minutes out of that game, SMU outplayed Clemson the last 50 to 52. Now this is a different stage.
Dallas team going in that weather, does that concern you?
A little bit. But to me, what makes SMU's offense go is Kevin Jennings on the ground. The big plays that he makes. Yeah, he's made a lot of big throws, but the thing that just scares the daylights out of you is when he will take off, and he does it a lot. So I'm a little bit concerned, but not overly concerned. What's the coldest game that Penn State has played this year? I mean, I don't remember them playing in sub-freezing temperatures. This is significantly colder than it was a month ago in University Park. So a little bit, but I would still lean.
I mean, we looked at the weather. When we saw the possibilities, when some of the first polls came out, we saw these teams that possibly could have them. So I mean, it is. There's another thing that I'm taking as the angle, and there's result of the first drive, and the punt is something that I like for Tennessee, Ohio State, for both teams, certainly for Clemson, because I think Texas is real good, defensively. But a lot of these teams sort of the feeling each other out in the cold weather, like you talked about. Like we watched some of the FCS games, they were really slow getting going, and in the second half they started getting up to snuff a little bit with their handling the conditions a little bit better as the game went deeper. But early on, I think the first punt on some of these drives, we'll see how they do in these three games. But I even like the Clemson win as well. I just really like Texas defense, So, but Dabo is, man, he's playing with borrowed money, man. He's got they played like they had nothing to lose, and I thought it was a big factor in them. They handled the stage much better because I think SMU is better than them.
Texas is the number one defense in the country in yards per play allowed, four even. So there's plenty of reasons to like that defense. I like the way that Klubnik has been playing, though. You look at some of those games down the stretch. Now, it wasn't a huge game through the air against South Carolina, and he threw the one pick that was really, really costly. But he made a lot of plays with his feet in that game, and he's been a very consistent rushing threat for them. Not as much as, say, Kevin Jennings, but he's made a lot of plays with his feet. And you take the South Carolina game out, the four games that they played besides then, he's got 12 touchdown passes and only one interception outside of the South Carolina game. So he's playing well. It's a lot to ask of him to go into that stadium against that team. But
you think that's a tough place to play?
I think it's going to be it's a big stage. It's loud. I think it's a fairly tough place to play. In this stage. We're talking about unders. What about this is a basketball angle, but in the tournament, jitters and all that stuff, first half unders. You get in the first game unders. Yeah. First half unders. Since you were just talking about that, getting into a flow of these games, first half unders. I'm looking at whole game unders, but first half unders might be even
Charlie,
better play.
I mean, Klubnik's a running guy. He was recruited as a dual threat guy. He averages about a little over 10 rushes a game. I mean, the Citadel game kind of put it down, but the previous 5 games, SMU 14 rushes, South Carolina 10 rushes, Pitt 10, Virginia Tech 15, Louisville 12. We had the game winner for the TD.
Yeah, against Pitt.
He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Both of the touchdowns that Clemson scored against South Carolina were on his legs. So he was recruited that way. He is that, and so no, and that's why they kind of came with a little bit of ballyhoo because he can't. He's got a live arm and he's got some wheels as well. So they're gonna need him to play well, and he has been playing well.
Out of those 8 quarterbacks that are playing in this first round of the playoffs, which quarterback would you take? Of the 8 teams that are playing on Friday and Saturday, which have any of the 8 you want? I'd take him.
I like Rourke.
Rourke's had a great season. There's no question.
Limited competition.
And Jennings scares the hell out of you.
I think Jennings was going right. He's the best. Man, he can really make some throw. You got to get rid of those turnovers though. So many of these guys are just I think they got just the right mix now, the right blend with Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. He's certainly more comfortable than he was early in the year, and so they're not going to throw it 35, 40 times a game, but they're going to throw it a little bit more than what he was at one point. That's a tough because they're all kind of the same. Yours is really good intermediate stuff, but man, all of them have their inconsistencies, and a lot of them have they really been tested? And what's certainly not Nico. I could tell you that. He might be the weakest. The way Josh Heupel, and we've seen him before. We know what he wants to do. For really kind of keep him under wraps, tells you just how little confidence they have in letting him throw the ball. And, Will Howard, you don't know, drive to drive. Throws a pick 6 against Penn State, man, then he takes it right down the field, and gets hot. And completed like 22 out the next 24 passes. Out of all of them, I'd probably take the kid from SMU.
Jennings.
And Klubnik, yeah.
I
listen to an argument both ways, yeah.
Yeah.
I like what Leonard's done. I think of those teams, Charlie, maybe Notre Dame's been the most battle-tested?
Out of these,
even as little.
It's hard to say that with Texas having played Georgia twice, but after you get past the Georgia twice, the rest of the schedule
they're ready to pack Ryan Day's stuff right now. Oregon's the clear number 1. What happens if when they have the ball at the 29 in Eugene that they don't get the kid Smith doesn't get the offensive pass interference? And put them back where Landon could play games with the rule that they changed and everything else. But
that game could have gone either way. That was a straight coin.
Yeah,
game. The clunker was against Michigan. The Oregon game, if they play that game 10 times, it splits right down the middle. I think.
But I'm a little bit reluctant. I might put something on Notre Dame or Texas. I like their bracket a little bit better. I'm not taking, Ohio State, Oregon. One would probably knock each other off, and those are probably the highest. I know Chris Andrews still has Ohio State as his number 1 team as far as Las Vegas odds are concerned. And, man, but, they take care of business against Tennessee. Tennessee, what have they done? They played two tough games,
they
right?
They played really good defense.
No, but Alabama and Georgia, they split them, right?
Yes.
And then they lose to Arkansas, so they got one. There's a lot of NC State was their one Power 4 opponent. They're terrible. Terrible. Three random wins.
They've got a little bit of the same problem that Texas does. The teams that were supposed to be good on their schedule or were not. NC State was a ranked team when they played them. Oklahoma was a ranked team when they played them.
They beat the two teams that Alabama couldn't, Oklahoma and Vandy.
And Vandy.
You get credit for that, I guess.
When they played Oklahoma was a ranked team. They weren't at the end of the season.
You don't think South Carolina would be a better team? If South Carolina was playing at Ohio State, what would the line be? Would you give South Carolina a better chance at beating Ohio State?
Right now, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I would. What do I think the line would be? I think the line would be a little bit higher than what it is now. I think it'd be like 9.5 instead of 7.5-ish, something like that. But the way Sellers played at Clemson, and I'm a big Lenore Sellers fan. I was very happy that he couldn't play in the second half against LSU. Otherwise, LSU didn't win that game.
Yeah, it looks like he's who you going to take, Sellers or Nico right now? There's
I'm
no
taking Sellers.
comparison. No comparison.
Yeah.
No comparison, especially Nico on the road too. He's really.
I promise you, I will have a Lenore Sellers Heisman future before next season starts. Yeah, I will. I will take a little of that action in the preseason.
Don't forget during the holiday season, cook with some great Louisiana rice, grown, milled, and processed right here in South Louisiana. Supreme rice, the parboiled rice gives you that restaurant quality rice, man. When you're boiling or steaming your rice at home. Again, and man, for all your holiday cooking, you do it with Louisiana rice. Supreme Rice at supremerice.com.
Don't forget that part of the Climate Smart program, they reducing methane emissions and promoting water conservation. So future generations of Louisiana farmers will reap the same benefits. Again, for more information, go to supremerice.com. Back to wrap it up here at Jolie Pearl and Town Square Pizza, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Jolie Pearl downtown, facing Town Square on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
New Orleans Bowl tonight at 6 o'clock, out of their usual Saturday slot with the reconfigured schedule here. The opt-out action is pretty minimal for this game. Georgia Southern will have their entire starting offense on the field tonight. The defense is going to play most of their guys, but they're outside of the top 100 in pretty much every metric that you look at. Sam Houston's got a lot of people in the portal, but most of them are playing. They've got 23 players in the portal, but 20 of them will play in the game tonight. Small play on the over tonight is where I'm at. 48.5 is the total. Thanks to our friends here at Jolie Pearl and Town Square Pizza. Always enjoy coming down here. Get some great oysters. Get some hot pizza. If you're working downtown, they get you in and out in a hurry. And, of course, some wonderful Christmas decorations here at Jolie Pearl. Tomorrow we're at Rufino's. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey, it's Jenny Garth here. The talk around GLP-1s is inescapable these days, but are you familiar with Future Health? They've made accessing qualified doctors who specialize in GLP-1s easier than ever before. My friend has struggled with their weight for many years. It was always up and down. She tried fad diets, never saw lasting results. So she started using GLP-1s, and not only did the weight come off, but she also gained more energy to do all those activities that she loved the most. I'm all about feeling my best and living my life in a healthy way. It's incredible how science is able to help us achieve that healthy lifestyle that we are all striving for. Future Health gives millions of people affordable access to knowledgeable providers who really know weight loss medications for less than $3 a day. Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in 3 minutes at tryfh.com. That's tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Future Health is not a healthcare service provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion. Results may vary. Sponsored by Future Health.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo! Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+. All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.